I'm a live wire. How many viewers we got?
0.
0 viewers. That's the way I like it.
Well, nobody knew we were going live, and we didn't really announce it or anything, so
We're springing it on them.
we're just kind of coming in on them hot. Nobody knows. Incognito live stream here. So yeah, Taryl's going to show you how to do some chainsaw chains.
Chainsaw chains live.
What you doing there, Pa?
Just cleaning until some fans and subscribers get online with us.
We got 6.
All right. Woo! Hello, 6 of you. Where are you from? Where are the 6 of y'all from?
Kansas. We got a lot of snow here too. Let me show you the snow real quick.
Oh, we didn't get a lot of snow.
Oh,
we got some
a
snow.
lot for here. About 4 inches or so. 3-4 inches.
Oh.
Kind of hard to tell, but that's outside the shop there. A little bit of snow.
Walk outside the door. You can go far.
That's right, I forgot.
We got an extender.
I can still hear you too, because you're mic'd up.
I got the mic on.
So here we are, coming out here.
I'm cleaning up here.
Who wants a gumball? Not too bad.
Is it still snowing?
Yeah, it's still snowing.
Because on the cameras, it doesn't look like it's snowing.
Hello from Ireland. Hello.
Ireland?
Yeah, we got them from all over, Pa.
What time is it there in Ireland?
What time is it over there in Ireland, mate? Here's some stuff we're working on here in the shop. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Alabama, 3 inches. Wow.
So the whole state of Alabama's come to a standstill because they got 3 inches of snow, right?
Shut down.
Don't have like snow plows and stuff down there.
Yeah, they're not usually set up down in them places. 3 inches in Missouri.
I think snowplow just went by.
Got a guy from Italy.
Italy.
Chicago, Jackson, Mississippi. Roll call, where are you from? Where's everybody at?
Roll call. I like
West
it.
Palm Beach, no snow. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Georgia Peach. Rogala, Northwest. I forgot, I didn't see it. It disappeared real quick. Dayton, Ohio in the house. So we got 282 watching.
Wow.
So I don't know if you want to
start the show.
Start the show here.
All right, so I'm going to show you how I make chainsaw chains. Now I usually buy them already pre-cut in loops, but for a lot of the bigger chainsaws that are over 20 inches, I usually like to keep a roll of chain and make my own. So I know that they sell, Oregon sells a piece of cardboard that you lay out on your bench and it tells you where to mark it and everything. I got my bench marked already right here. So maybe you can walk around here and show them how I got it marked. I got it marked for all the popular lengths of saws. See, I got it stamped in there. 3/872, that's a 20-inch, popular 20-inch chain. 325/81 drive links, that's a popular 20-inch also. So they both, since they're 20-inch, they're both going to end up in the same area here. So I got my bench marked for all the different sizes. So what I do is I got this cabinet over here, which has one of my chainsaw sharpeners on it. And this machine here is for when the drivers of the chain, and the driver is this part here that drives it. Sometimes when the chain gets too loose, or if people get the saw stuck in a branch, you know, sometimes you're cutting and the branch will fold in and pinch the bar, and you're trying to pull it out, and it'll knock the chain off the bar. And usually these drivers will get nicked up, and then it won't fit back in the groove of the bar. So this machine here, when you start it up, you lay it in there and you run it through. And it'll grind those little nicks off of there. So there's little washers that go in between here. So you could set the different thicknesses of these, because these drivers come in different thicknesses. 43 thousandths, 50 thousandths, 58 thousandths, 63 thousandths. So you set these little grinding wheels, which are basically cutoff wheels, like for a 4-inch grinder. And this is an actual machine that's made for doing this, from Franzen. And then it comes with a set of washers, and you can set the thicknesses so that way it'll grind it. It's safe. I know it looks dangerous, like, that grinding wheel is going to grab that piece of chainsaw chain, it's going to rip it out of your hand, and it's going to cut your hands. No, it's pretty safe. I've been using it for years, and I've never been injured by it. But that's how that works. But of course, you know, you would use a whole chain that's already cut into a loop. And then I would just sit here, stick it in the machine, get that set in there. And then it'll grind those little burrs that get on there off. And then it'll fit back in the bar, in the groove of the bar. I know what you're saying. That still looks dangerous. So this is my little setup for that. Here's my other my Marcusson automated grinding machine. So if I need to make a chain, I don't have a dedicated bench for doing that. That's why I set it up this way. So in here, in the bottom here, I've got a roll of chain, 100-foot roll of chain. And then I made this out of some scrap steel. Welded a C-clamp to it. Clamp that to the vise. Now I could spool this out. Down here, I drilled 2 holes in the bench, and I got these screws. This is for, bigger hole is for the big full 3/8 chain, and this is for the smaller chain. So I stick it in there. Then I come down here. And mark it to whatever length chain I'm making. So I want to make a 72 drive length, because this is full 3/8 chain here, what I'm using. This is 72 EXL, and 100U means it's 100 foot. So 72 EXL is 3/8 50 thousandths chain. This is how chains are determined, because a lot of times people come in and go, I got a 20-inch still. I need a chain for it. Is it 3/8 or is it 3/25 pitch? I don't know. So that's why they got on the box. There's a picture of the bar. with the two little arrows, which tells you what length bar this is. So we're going to make a 20 inch. So we're going to write 20 on there. 50 thousandths, that's the bar. That's the groove in the bar, this little picture. See the little arrows pointing to the groove? So 50 thousandths, that's how thick this is, because this is the part that fits in the bar. So we mark it 050. And then we want to know what pitch the chain is. We know it's 3/8 because the box said. And look at how it tells you how to tell if you got 3/8. They got a picture of the piece of chain, and there's 3 rivets. So you measure the distance between the 3 rivets and you divide it by 2. And that'll tell you what pitch chain you have. But we already know this is 3/8. This is full 3/8. 3/8 low profile is the smaller chain. It's still got a 3/8 pitch, but it's smaller. Let me see if I got a piece of 3/8. This is probably 325. I don't know if I got a piece. Hold on. We're live. Let me just go get a 3/8 low profile chain. I'll be right back.
All right. While we're waiting on him, just want to let you know we got a lot of items marked down in the online store that are going for sale. $15 t-shirts. You can't beat that price. A couple of them are marked way down. We got a bunch of items. License plates are cheap. So help support the channel directly. Head over to the online store, www.tarylfixesall.com. Pick yourself up or something great today for the grass rat in your life. Also, if anyone wants to send over some super chats, that'd be greatly appreciated. Help keep these lights on. If not, that's fine too. Just enjoy the show. All right, back to Taryl.
All right. So this is what's called 3/8 low profile chain. And this is 3/8. This is full 3/8. So you can tell the difference because look at how much bigger the chain is. So this is the smaller 3/8. It's still a 3/8 pitch because when I line it up here, see, the pitch is the same. It's just the smaller for a smaller. This is a 14 inch. And then I brought some 325. Now it's 0.325, which is 325 thousandths of an inch, which basically translates to 5/16. So it's basically 5/16 chain. So watch when I lay the 5/16 chain up against the 3/8. When I try to line them up, because they're off. Because this is 5/16, this isn't 3/8. So it's going to be off. That's where the confusion comes in, because a lot of people don't know what their saw takes. So this is a 16-inch chain for a still. 22 LPX 067. 16-inch bar, 63 thousandths for the groove in the bar, 325 pitch, 67 drive lengths. So that's what determines the length for this 16-inch still, the 67. So how you read this is 22 means that it's 325 chain that's 63 thousandths thick on the driver. LPX is the type of chain that it is. It's got a yellow label on it, which means it doesn't have the anti-kickback devices on there. So it's less safer chain. It's a little bit more aggressive. There really is no safe chain because you get cut by it. It ain't safe. And then 067 is the drive links. Now Stilch, they use a different system to determine their type of chain. But that's how Oregon, that's how you read that Oregon.
We got a feller here asking, how do you know what the saw takes if you don't have an old chain and the bar isn't marked?
Then you just, well, it's going to be one of three chains. It's going to be either 3/8, low profile or full 3/8, or it's going to be 325. So you just going to have to get a chain and figure it out. A lot of times it'll be marked on the bar, but not all manufacturers do that. Let me get some bars.
Let me clean this lens off. How's that? Better?
So I got a bunch of different bars here from different manufacturers. I don't have any still bars, but it's marked on theirs too. But a lot of times this gets wore off. So like on this Dolmar bar, it tells you 325, 72, 0.3 millimeters or 50 thousandths of an inch. So what you can do is if you got some chain, we know this is 325 and this is a 3/8 chain, it's not gonna track. Look, it's not tracking correctly in the nose of the bar.
Yeah, it's got gaps between there. You can see daylight through there.
And then since this is a 50 thousandths bar and this is a 325 pitch, 63 thousandth thick driver, this isn't going to fit in the groove, see? Because we need a 50 thousandths. So this doesn't fit in there.
Musty's asking if the clutches are different.
Yeah, the clutch is different too. Because you got to figure the sprocket and the tip of the bar, if it's got this on it, they got to be the same pitch. If they're not the same pitch, it's not going to work right. I've had that before. I've had where somebody had a 325 clutch drum and they went and bought a bar and chain for 3/8. And I mean, it'll go on there, but it's when you go to spin the chain, it's going to click and clack and it's not going to track right.
Clickety clack, clickety clack.
So there's a lot to know to this chainsaw stuff. It's not as simple and easy as you think.
Just go back there and get me a chain. Put the dang thing on there, bud. Be done with it.
Here's a Husqvarna bar, Husqvarna. It doesn't have a sprocket on it. There's no sprocket on the end. But it tells you what it's for. Again, this is stamped in there. 3/8, 68 DL, which is drive links. And I'm sure it's 50 thousandths.
What pitch are them choppers of yours, Pa?
These are 7/16. So this is 50 thousandths because this is a piece of 50 thousandths chain.
Is there anything else they need to know with like the bar, with dressing the bar or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and then here's a 20 inch, 50 thousandths, 3/8, 70 Oregon bar. And then this is how many different saws this bar will fit. So a lot of them will interchange. As you can see, Echo and some McCullough models and some Poulins and some Craftsmans will interchange because a lot of saws were made for Craftsman by Poulin. So that's why that's on there.
I had to take a pull in before we did this live stream.
You're pinching off that turtle head. And then here's a 3/8 low profile, 50 thousandths, 52 drive lengths. So this is a 14-inch bar, and it's telling you all the different saws it'll fit.
That's quite a bit there, looks like.
That is quite a bit. That'll interchange.
Musty says hi, by the way.
Oh, hi, Musty. How you doing? So this bar from Sten's.
Where is Slippers, they're asking.
He's in the other room working on one of his projects. Now this bar, it doesn't have any of that information stamped in it. But when you do this long enough and you understand how it works, then you can pretty much figure out what chains. A lot of times on the still chainsaws, it'll be marked on the drum too. We've got a still over here that came in for repair. Let me zip that bar off.
They want to see your toy chainsaw collection too when you get a chance.
Yeah, we could go up there and take a look at it. I need a 3/4 socket.
When they're saying it wrong, they're saying it's stilch.
Stilch. I'm sorry. What happened to my impact?
Echo, stilch, McClutchin.
Here, let's walk over here. We don't want to get the customer's name showing on there.
You don't want to make them famous, Pa?
You know who brought this in? Our old UPS driver, Russ. Remember Russ Jr.?
Russ never sleeps?
No, Russ, not Rust. Our UPS driver who retired.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
Yep. This is one of them stories where he'd taken it to 2 other people to fix this saw and they were unsuccessful.
You don't say.
So now he brought it to me. But he lives kind of far, so he figured, you know, he would have them look at it. So right here on the sprocket, it says 325. 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. So it's got 7 teeth.
That's about how many I got.
So that gives you a little idea how this chainsaw chain fiasco works. If any of you grass rats out there own a shop, you know what I'm talking about. When they come in looking for chains. All right, so back to what I do to make a chain.
Anchor it down at the end there.
So I got it, my little pin in there, and I want to make a 3/8 72 drive link, which is a 20-inch that fits a lot of stills. It's a popular chain I sell a lot of. So I got it lined up to my mark that says 3/8 72 that I got stamped in my table. And of course, when I break the chain, I'm going to want to break it right here on this cutter. So I usually, because this chain's got a lot of oil on it from the factory, they want to keep it lubricated. So I usually mark it with Mr. Paint Pen. Say hello to Mr. Paint Pen. Say hello to the grass rats. Hello, grass rats. Then I got my breaker, chain breaker, which again, I just simply C-clamp it to the bench.
Let me come around here.
Now you can buy these tools, these breaking tools, and the Rivet spinner. Oregon sells them. So here's the thing that's going to break the chain. says 325, 3/8. Then on this side, it's got 404. That's real big chain. That's the biggest, 404 that they make now. And then it says 90, 91, 92. This is 3/8 low profile, because that's what Oregon uses to determine their low profile chain. 90, which is 43 thousandths, 91, which is 50 thousandths, and 92, I believe, is, I'd have to look on the chart, but I believe 92 is 63 thousandths or 58. I can go look on the chart, but we never sell any of that chain or even run across it. It's either 90 or 91. And then down here is for the little baby 1/4-inch chain. And that 1/4-inch chain is what they use a lot now on these battery powered chainsaws and for carving. I got some 1/4-inch chain. It's small. Little baby teeth. This is your baby teeth. So look at it compared to the 3/8. So I usually call this carving chain, because a lot of those guys that carve, this is what they want to use. Plus they got those bars that got the real tiny tip. They call it a dime tip or a 1/4 tip, because it's about the size of a dime at the end. It'll come to a point. So that way they can get in there and do some fine carving. What was that? All right.
I don't know.
So now I got to set it up to 3/8, and I'm going to lay the chain. Fits right in there like that. So you can see there's a little slop in there. I usually like to pull it over to this side, and you just line up the little pin with the center of the, and then you pop it. Then I like to push it over to this side, get it lined up. And then since I didn't damage this, I'm going to save that cutter. But this I don't need. Now we got to join it together. And we do that with a rivet spinner. Okay, so now I want to join this chain right here. Let me lay it out. So if you notice, if I was to just put the strap and the tie bar on there, because this is what they, when you get a 100-foot roll, they give you a bunch of these with it. So if I was to put this on there, we're going to have a big gap here. So that's where I'm going to save the cutter, and I'm going to use the cutter over. So if you notice on the chain, you got one cutter going one way, one going the other way. Now some chains...
And you got me over here going, hey, what do you want from me?
Now some of these chains that are odd, because this is an even number, 72. If you've got an odd number of drive links, like the 81 drive link one, let me get an 81 drive link chain to show you.
Howdy, grass rats. How you doing? Where are we from?
Hey, how you doing? Hey.
Slip dog.
Everybody. Just over here working on a little upcoming video. Maybe I'll let you in on it. Fun stuff. Keep your eyes peeled. All right, I gotta go back to work.
All right, later, Slip Man.
There's your supper.
There's your supper. This guy's from Butte, Montana.
Butte.
No, Butte.
All right, I've seen this on other chains, but this one, see, they got a big gap in there because there's no place to put, because it's an odd number, 81, it's not an even number. There's no place to put another cutter because the cutter's got to go here or it's got to go here. So then you got that gap. But I've seen chains where there's two cutters on the same side, which isn't going to hurt anything. I've seen it where you have two rights or two lefts on the same side. But I'm going to put this cutter back on. So it needs to go on this side.
You ever see that movie Breaking Away?
Yeah, the bicycle movie.
Yeah, it's got them guys, the cutters.
Is that what they are named after, chainsaw chains?
My girlfriend's dad went to high school with the guy that wrote that.
Really?
He's from Hammond.
Really?
Little tidbit, little nice little fun fact for all you grass rats. This guy has asked this question probably 30 times if you're going to do another video with Mark Myers, the chainsaw guy.
We could. Mark doesn't live too far from here. He was in here actually not long ago.
Yeah, we did that one at, what was that show we did? With
The
Mark?
one in
Winnemac?
Winnemac.
Thanks for the super chats, by the way. We had a few of them come in. We appreciate it very much.
All right, so this is it together. There's the link. Now I got to spin those rivets. So over here is the rivet spinner, which I got set up. Here's some 404 chain. We'll look at that later.
404, your page can't be found.
So here's the rivet spinner. And you just simply drop it in there. You loosen this. You want the rivet on this side, the head of it, facing the handle. And you tighten it down. Then they suggest you put a couple of drops of oil on there. If you don't, when it spins the rivet, sometimes it'll put little cracks in it at the end of the rivet. So you can use any kind of lubricant on there. I'm just going to put some of our gel lube on there, which we sell.
That's good stuff.
Like I said, this stuff works for everything. So you start spinning it, and as you're spinning it, you tighten this lever. So I usually like to give it a few spins to get it started. Then I go to the next one.
And what is that doing?
It's spinning the head of the rivet
What's the purpose of that?
to hold it together. Otherwise,
So
the
that's
chain would
bonding
come.
the chain together?
Yep.
That's how you close it up then.
Yeah. And you can spin it either way. Doesn't matter. And there you have it. There's your dinner. See, it spun it.
That's some shiny ones, huh?
Yep. Now sometimes when you do this and you spin it, if you went to break the chain and you may have possibly bent one of these a little bit when you went to pop it and you go and spin it, and this will be tight. You can try to loosen it up by going like this and flexing it a little bit. And if that doesn't work, you can put it back in here. So if the link is too tight, you can put it back in here. Now I have to spin this around.
And we just kind of bend it back.
And then just put some pressure on it. You don't want to pop it, but you just want to put a little bit of pressure on it until you get it to loosen up. Because that's happened before. And you think, oh, no, it's tight. Well, maybe if I put it on the saw and run it, it'll loosen it up. It may or may not, or it may not move, and you're revving the saw, and it's on because it can't spin because this is too tight. So again, you can just stick it in there, put a little pressure on it, but you don't want to pop it.
Release the links. Spread the links, they're saying.
Yep. So that's all there is. That's all there is to it, to making a chain. Now, some shops, because we have people that come in here. Where's that box? So there's a new chain that I can put up for sale. This is a popular size.
Zach is asking, do you save money making these chains?
You can, a couple of bucks, but I mean for your labor, is it worth it? I mainly do it because I don't want to stock a bunch of these 24-inch chains and 36-inch. Those aren't fast movers. I don't sell a lot of them. Once in a while. So I do this, I mainly just stock this chain. This 3/8, this full 3/8. Just so I can make the bigger chains for some customers that come in. That have a 36-inch chainsaw or a 32, 28.
So
Then
it's
I'll
not
make
worth
them.
stocking all them different chains for the few people
If you
that
want to
have
sit
them.
there, yeah. So,
So you'll just make a few for the ones that need them?
yep. And then I got 72, so I know it's 72 drive lengths.
So you pre-make these chains and have them sitting on the
And then I'll
shelf?
have them sit, some of them, or sometimes the guy will come in and, hey, do you got a 28-inch chainsaw chain for steel? And I go, no, but I can make you one. You got 5 minutes? I'll hurry up and make you one.
All right, cool, because I got to take a dump anyway, is what he says.
Yeah, and then I go, there's the bathrooms right there. While he's in there making a poop face, I'm making him a chain. So, some guys will stretch their chains out. They'll run out of adjustment on their bar because they stretch the chain out. And they'll bring the chain in and they'll want me to take a link out of it because there's still a lot of cutter left on it. There's still a lot of tooth left on the chain, and they don't want to throw away a good chain. It's just stretched out.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some shops in our area here that won't do that. No, we're not taking out no link out of your chain. You got to buy a new chain. If you think about it in theory, if the chain is stretching, now you're changing the pitch. You're changing the pitch of the chain. And then when you start changing the pitch because it's stretched out, now you got the tendency to wear out the tip of the bar and to wear out the sprocket drum. But I take links out. If they want links taken out, I take them out. If their chain is stretched out, I take it out. And then again, you got to have this to do it. You got to have this, and you got to have the rivet spinner. Again, this I made just to hold this. So here's some 404 chain. 404 63 thousandths. Look at how beefy this is. Now usually, some guys that got those bigger saws with the 28-inch bars and 32-inch bars and 36-inch bars, you should be running this on it. And I'll tell you the reason why they make the different thickness of the driver. Why they make this thicker. And the reason they make it thicker is it doesn't stretch as fast. So I can never understand why they come in all the time with these 25-inch chainsaw chains, or 24. I think Still calls it a 25, and then Husqvarna calls it a 24, and Echo calls it a 24. But they still have the same drive link count, 84 drive links. And they're all 50 thousandths thick. I don't understand why they would run a big chain like that and not make it 63 thousandths. Because they all tell me the same thing. They go, yeah, that chain stretches real fast on them bigger saws, that bigger bar. Because you got all that area that you've got to cover. You got a long bar. Got a lot of area that this is running on. And even though it's got an oiler, you're still steel on steel.
This guy's saying the chain isn't stretched. It's worn on the bearing surfaces of the links from heat and dirt.
Yeah, but it still stretches it. I mean, it still loses its length. Yeah, you're right. It does do that. And you could tell because you could take the chain and go like this when they're stretched. You know, you can pull it back and forth, and there'll be a lot of slop in there. But it's stretched. It's still stretched. It's longer.
There's your dinner.
You still run out of adjustment on your bar. You take a link out, now you can move that adjustment all the way back. But if I had a big saw, if I was ordering a chainsaw, that's another thing. When these dealers order these saws, these still saws, they order the power heads and then they tell the sales guy what bars they want for the power heads. You know, give me 20-inch bars, give me 28-inch bars, because you can mix and match them.
You ever heard that song, Killboy Powerhead?
No.
Digits. Offspring covers it. Anyhow.
And another thing I see a lot of, maybe this saw's got it. We've covered this in some of our other videos. Yeah, this saw's really been... So since you got steel on steel...
$50 super chat. Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Generous.
Where's that from?
I think it's at Bethlehem, PA. Robert.
Well, thank you, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So another issue that arises, because again, you're steel on steel is the groove in the bar. Look at this one. See how it starts to get flared out? Can you see that, Mr. Cameraman? See how it's got that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Splitting like.
Right. And that's usually from cutting with the tip. When they got the thing on the ground and they're cutting branches and stuff and they're pushing on it. And it starts to flare this out. Sometimes it'll flare out far enough to where this little burr that's starting to arise on the edge of the bar will stick out further than the chain. And it won't go through, because I've had guys come in and they go, "You just sold me a brand new chain and it won't cut through this log for nothing." I go, "Well, look at that burr." I go, "Feel that burr you got on there." All you got to simply do is take it on a bench grinder or a belt sander and just grind it off, which I can do over here.
You guys asking if you make skip chain. Do people still request it?
Yeah, usually the bigger bars, they want it. For the 25-inch, I had one tree cutter that wanted a skip tooth chain. And the reason he likes that is because it's got less cutters and it clears the wood out of the cut. Because if you've cut with the standard chain there, that's not a skip tooth, the cut will fill up with sawdust. Then you got to keep pulling the saw out and clearing out the cut and then start cutting again. So
Spooky tooth.
Spooky tooth.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Hear that?
What does that got to do with chainsaw chain?
He said skip tooth, and I was thinking of spooky
Oh, a spooky tooth.
Spooky tooth.
So yeah, I had one tree service that wanted that skip tooth chain for their 24-inch bars and bigger, because they said it helps when clearing out that cut. It cuts better. So I was ordering that for them special. So yeah, when I want to take these off, I just do it on the bench grinder. Hold it at an angle. And get rid of that. Now I'm sure there's some shops that'll just say you need a new bar. I don't operate that way. And then you're supposed to flip the bar anyway for even wear. Because remember, when you're cutting, you're pushing like this. My hand is the piece of wood, you're pushing on here, so you're pushing that chain against this. So every time you change the chain, it even tells you in the manual, you should flip the bar so you get even wear. All right, so now I've taken that little burr off. Almost all of it. That's why you gotta feel it. Then I take it to my belt sander. Because I want to make this flat. And you got to be careful down here by the teeth. Then I flip it around and make sure that that's not sticking out. And I do it again. Then I keep looking at it till I get it nice and flat. Now I should put a new piece of sandpaper on here, but
Yeah. Just a little wore out this time.
from doing this. And I keep flipping it. It's called dressing the bar. And I make it flat again. And then I do it on the other side. And you'll get more life out of your guide bar.
How's that sound at home? That's got to be delightful in the old ears.
But that's how I dress the bar. I'm sure they make a tool for doing it, but you can just use a belt sander.
You ever put bar dressing on your salad?
No. Another thing or another handy tool you should have, one of these.
It's like a crevice tool.
And this is nice for cleaning out that groove in the bar. Cleaning all the boogers out of there. Let that oil get through there. Again, should do this every time you go to change the chain. So get one of these and throw it in your chainsaw chain case. And then make sure the holes are open where the oil comes through. Clean this out, keep it clean. So there you have it, grass rats. Hope this little explanation has educated you about different chainsaw chains, different types. Let's go look at that chart up front.
And show them chainsaw toys you got, Pa.
Yeah, they're up front too. Let's come on.
I'm coming, I'm following.
Come on. How many are watching?
1,078.
All right, all 1,078 of you come in here.
Come on, you guys coming with?
So I got this reference chart here from Oregon. And it's got all the different chains. And remember I was saying that the 3/8 low profile on that breaker 90 PX is 43 thousandths. See? 90 PX, 43, and 91 is 50 thousandths. And the PX just is a different type of chain, PXL. And if you notice, it's green. See how it's green?
Mm-hmm.
So that's got the kickback. If it's yellow, standard kickback. Asterisk, skip sequence, double asterisk, semi-skip sequence. So when we look at these asterisks, so if you want 72, 73, or 75 CK, that would be your skip tooth. 72 is 50 thousandths. 73 is 58 thousandths. And 75 is your 63 thousandths. And then here's your 404, which is the bigger stuff. And if you notice, there is no standard, kickback stuff. It's all standard kickback. So this is anything in the yellow is more aggressive, and that's what my customers want. Because they would always say, I don't want that safe chain. They call it safety chain. I don't want that safety chain. I want that aggressive stuff.
I'm trying to hurt myself.
Yeah. Cutting wood ain't no fun unless you're bleeding. But this is all the different things. Now you can put a 50 thousandths chain on a 63 thousandths bar. It'll just be a little sloppy in the groove. It may cut crooked. It may not. I've had guys do that. Put a 50 thousandths chain in a 63 bar, but of course you can't do the opposite because the groove ain't big enough.
Handy to have.
See, there's a lot to note, and that chainsaw ain't as easy as just give me 16-inch chainsaw chain for steel. This is another thing that's confusing with them stills. They have an 18-inch saw that takes 325 pitch, 63 thousandths, 68 drive lengths. Then they have another model that's 18-inch. And it takes 325 pitch, 63 thousandths. I don't have one. Or wait, here it is. It's this one.
Getting caught on the old hair there.
Then they have another 18-inch chainsaw that they make that takes 325 pitch, 63 thousandths. That has 74 drive lengths. So these two chains are for two different 18-inch stilt chainsaws, depending on when they were made. Because that comes in too. Need 18-inch for my saw. It's 325 pitch. I go, is it 68 or 74? Oh, I don't know. I go, well, I kind of need to know that because it's either going to be too short or too long.
You got that, Grass Rats? Well, somebody's asking if that Carl Childers photo is autographed.
It is.
And yes, it is.
That was
See that
sent.
real quick?
That was sent from a fan.
Ain't got no gas in it. Authentically signed. Yeah, a fan sent us that. Very generous, you Grass Rats. Grass Rats rule!
Oh,
Now let's check out that toy collection.
I gotta pull all this crap down.
Zach's not a grass rat. He's cool.
Oh, he doesn't like to be called a grass rat? Then what is he?
He's an ass hat.
You guys are making me work.
You need to clean this place up, Taryl.
So we got a Dolmar, still in the original box. We got a Husqvarna, a Stilch, an older Stilch. They made a few different types of that still toy chainsaw. I remember I was working at my brother's in the early 2000s, and the sales guy came in and said, "Hey, we got these toy chainsaws. They're $5 a piece." I should have bought a pallet of them, but I didn't know. I'm thinking, well, who's going to want a toy chainsaw? Then I found out they were collectible. We bought a few, but we didn't buy enough. We should have bought a bunch. There's a little Ertl one I think we got from a fan. And that Stanley Jr., I believe, came from a fan. And then there's a Craftsman.
That one got a little chain on it.
There's a Craftsman one on it. Craftsman back there.
With the little chain on there.
The little plastic chain.
That thing's cool.
And then we got this Bosch. This Bosch came from a fan too. This has got adjustable handle.
We got a skit coming up with these chainsaws actually in it, but we haven't had time to film it yet.
It's got a
The
little,
weather's been crappy.
got a little clicky knob. That doesn't do nothing. Doesn't make it go any faster.
But Carla and Bob are going to be returning in one of the skits coming up in the next few weeks.
Once the weather gets nicer, because we got to film it outside, and it's been in the teens here.
And it's snowing.
And it's supposed to continue for the next week or so to be in the teens.
That's cool. I like that.
Get back, grass rat.
Ah! Ah!
Someone's got some fur caught in there. Must have been using this to carve up an animal. Now this has got safety chain on it. Pretty cool. The other ones, I got all the batteries out of them. I don't want them to get ruined. I need to find some more for my little collection.
Who's got one of them calendars? 2025 in the house.
I put all this crap away.
Hey, you need to clean this place up. It's starting to look like an episode of Hoarders in here.
Oh.
Pack rats all over again. Who remembers pack rats?
I've seen some shops where they are really dirty.
Those of you that are wanting those calendars, they're sold out. So sorry. We only make so many a year, and then once they're gone, they're gone.
So you got to jump on it. Is that all we got? That's all we got, chainsaw related. How long we been on the air?
About an hour coming up
Wow,
on.
really?
59 minutes coming up on here, Pa.
Dang.
My arm's getting tired.
All right, well, let's close this out. Well, I'd like to thank all of you from all over the world for tuning in to this live feed. I hope you learned something. And thanks to all the Super Chat money that you donated. Very greatly appreciated. I appreciate that. And like I always say, I got the greatest fans in the world. And they're from all over the world. And like I always say, there's your dinner. Tune in next time. We're going to do this more often.
Thank you very much, grass rats.
Thanks again, and see ya.
Now there's your dinner.
There's your dinner.